Hi again. In this video I'm going to talk about another tense, and that tense is present perfect and continuous present perfect continuous tense. Hi again. In this video I'm going to talk about another tense, and that tense is present perfect and continuous present perfect continuous tense, or we can also say present perfect progressive tense. Present perfect continuous tense or present perfect progressive tense. Now, as is clear from its name, we have ing form here. Now, first of all, let's talk about the structures. What are the structures of the present perfect tense? First one, for a positive sentence, what is the structure? We use subject plus have or has plus been plus verb ing. And for the negative sentence, we use subject plus have or has plus not plus been plus verb ing. For the question form, we mostly subject plus have. We use at the beginning, we use have or has plus subject plus been plus verb ing and plus a question mark. Now, this is actually how we can change them to the negative sentence, to the positive sentence, and to the question. Let's give some examples. For example, I said we use have for plural and has for singular. For example, he has been sleeping all day. He has been sleeping all day. Now, this is a positive sentence, and if I want to change the sentence to negative, I have to say he hasn't been or has not been sleeping. He has not been sleeping all day. If I want to change the same sentence to question, I have to say, has he been sleeping? Has he been sleeping all day? Now, sometimes we can also use it to negative interrogative. For example, has he not been sleeping? Has he not been sleeping all day? Or the other structure, we can say, has not he been sleeping? Has he not been sleeping all day? Now, what's the difference between the last two? This is formal one and this is informal one. So if not comes before subject is informal, if not comes after the subject is formal. So this is the positive sentence, this is the negative sentence, this is the question, and these two are the negative interrogative. Now, this is how we can use the structures of present perfect continuous tense, or we can say present perfect progressive tense. Now, we got to be really careful not to use the verbs that cannot take ing. So we cannot use non-progressive verbs. So here is called progressive. It's only used for the verbs that can take ing. But if the verbs that cannot take ing, we cannot use this tense. Now, that's about the structures. Let's talk about how to use them and when to use them. Let's discuss about the usages. So, what are the usages actually, or when do we use present perfect continuous tense or present perfect progressive tense? Now, here it has the same usages as present perfect tense. The first usage, let's talk about it. It talks about an action. It talks about an action here. It started in the past. It started in the past, and finishes or completes. Let's say finishes before another action. Action in the present tense. Now this this usage is interchangeable in present perfect and also present perfect continuous tense. Now this is the structure. Look, we have the chart. In this time chart, this is past, this is present, and this is future. Now this one talks about an action started in the past, continues up to now, it finishes before another action in the present tense. Exactly the same as for example, reading, arrive. For example, you started reading in the past, and when I arrive, you finish reading. So here I can say, I have read a book. I have read a book. You know, before you came, before, for example, you arrive. So we have two actions. This action of reading, action of arriving. So arriving completed before what? Sorry, reading completes before arrive. When? In the present tense. This is called present perfect tense. But I can also use present perfect continuous tense. I can say I have been reading a book when you arrive. Now, so this is interchangeable. So sometimes it's confusing. In order to remove this confusion, we have to use present perfect tense. For example, if I say present perfect continuous tense, sometimes we think that the action may continue to the future. For example, I started reading in the past, and when you arrive now, I just finished it. I can say I have read a book before you come. But I can also say I have been reading a book, and then I say, what were you doing? And you say, I have been reading a book. And then I say, yes, really? Of course, yes. You say, I have been reading a book. Or you can say, I have been doing my homework. Or we can say he has cleaned. Look, he has cleaned the room. I can also use he has been cleaning the room. He has been cleaning the room. Now this usage is interchangeable. There's not any difference between he has cleaned the room, he has been cleaning the room. Action of cleaning started in the past. When we come or when you come, we finish it. I can say he has cleaned the room. I can also say he has been cleaning the room. And then you say, what has he been doing? And then I say, he has been cleaning the room. So when you come, the cleaning finishes. So action of cleaning happens before another action went in the present tense. It's the first usage. And this usage is similar to present perfect usage. Action is started in the past and finishes before another action in the present tense. Now, the other usage, we have another usage for the present perfect continuous tense, and that usage is also the same as present perfect tense. So this is number two, usage number two. Number one is done. Number two, it talks about an action. It talks about an action started in the past, and continues up to now. Let's say this is the chart again. This is past, this is present, and this is future. If an action is started in the past, look, and it continues up to now, it may continue to the future. So here mostly this one talks about the duration. Duration of what? This one talks about the duration of action verbs. This usage talks about the duration of which one? Action verbs. For example, you started painting the room in the past, and when I arrive, this action of painting started in the past and continued, or continues up to now, and it continued for a period of time. So here we have to use what? This one. For the duration of non-action verbs, we use present perfect, but for the duration of action verbs, we must use present perfect continuous tense. And here again we use for. We can use since here, for and since, both of them. For a period of time, since is used for a starting point. For example, I can say they have been painting they have been painting the room. They have been painting the room for 2 hours. 2 hours ago they came here and they started painting. This action of painting continued for how long? For 2 hours. It's an action verb. Or the next one, she has been writing, we can say an article for 1 hour. She started writing an article in the past and she continued up to now, and this action continued for a period of time. Or we can say we have been sleeping. For how long? We have been sleeping, for example, for 5 hours. Or let's say, for example, he has been working here. He has been working here. Here since 2016. So this action of working started in 2016 and he is still working here, and it continued for a period of time. So I said for action of working, like action of live, study, learned, and also we have work. We can use present perfect, and also we use present perfect continuous tense. For example, I can say I have lived here for 10 years, or I can say I have been living here for 10 years. Study, I have been studying for 5 years, or I have studied for 5 years. Learn, she has been learning English for 2 months. She has learned English for 2 months. Or work, I have been working for 10 years. I have worked for 10 years. Now, this is how we talk about present perfect continuous tense. So let me say again, present perfect continuous has the same usages as present perfect. So first usage, we say that it talks about an action that is started in the past and finishes or completes before another action in the present tense. The second usage, it also talks about an action that is started in the past and continues up to now. It may continue to the future. So this one talks about the duration of which verbs? Action verbs. What are action verbs? They show actions. For example, write. For example, speak. For example, drive. For example, play. For example, write. For example, sleep. For example, we have clean. For example, if I say I have cleaned the room for 2 months, for 2 years, it's wrong. What do we say? I have been cleaning the room for 2 hours. Now, this is how we can talk about and how we use present perfect continuous tense. So let's say if I want to show the duration, if I want to ask about the duration, I have to use how long. For example, we can say how long have, for example, how long have they been working here? It talks about the duration. Or I can say how long have you been sleeping? Or I can also say how long has he been writing? He has been writing for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Now, this is how we can use present perfect continuous tense. We discussed about the structures, we discussed about the usages, and we also said about how we can change them to negative in the questions. So sometimes we can also use it for the duration, the repetition of an action. For example, you can say I have been working all day. She has been visiting London for years. Now, this is all about present perfect continuous tense, and this is the end, and thank you very much.